All right. So, good morning, everybody. I'll just check if my OBS is already recording. Okay, it is recording now. All right. So, first of all, I would like to greet everybody good morning. If you're watching this in the morning, good morning to you. But if you're watching this in the afternoon, good afternoon to you. But I'm pretty sure that some of you or majority of you are watching this in the evening or even early in the morning. So, in whatever time or whichever time you're watching this video, I hope that you are in a good condition. I hope that you are safe. I hope that your family is safe as well. All right. So at this time, okay, this lecture is focused on the teacher. Okay. Last time we talked about the learner as an integral fundamental element of the teaching and learning process. And this today we shall be discussing the teacher naman. Okay, we already know that there are three elements of the teaching and learning process, and we will discuss those individually. And last week, we talked about the learner. Now, we will talk about the teacher, okay? Now, just a review of what you have learned from our discussion on the learner, okay? Um, uh, when I introduce to you why is it important that we learn or we become aware of the elements of teaching and learning is that I told you that the only way that we could become an effective teacher, okay? I mean, not the only way, but one of the ways or one of the most important consideration, okay, for you to become an effective teacher is to understand and to know how your learners actually learn, right? Because our learners are in the center of the teaching and learning process. Okay? They are at the center. In other words, at all costs, no? As teachers, you must understand them. We must know their background, we must know their abilities, we must know their capacities, and above all, because our primary goal is teaching, we should know how they learn. And that question alone has a lot of answers. How learners learn has a lot of answers, right? Because you learned about multiple intelligences. You learn that our learners are actually different from each other. Okay? Some of them are visual learners, some of them are musical learners, some of them are kinesthetic learners or they have spatial intelligence. So they possess different kinds of intelligence. Okay? And also study habits. They have different study habits. They also have different learning styles, right? So, in other words, ladies and gentlemen, those play, okay? Those that I have mentioned, their learning styles, their multiple intelligence or their type of intelligences, their study habits, okay? They actually have an interplay, okay, in the classroom, and teachers have to be aware of that so that they could effectively design a instructional plan that suits the kind of learners that we have, okay. So that is how important knowing the characteristics of our learners, diba? And remember, they have appetitive faculties, they have cognitive faculties. Okay, so they have two fundamental equipment, and then they have intellect, they have memory, they have attitudes and values. Those are factors that makes them different from each other. Okay, so you have to take note of those. No, you have to take note of those concepts because as teachers, okay, we cannot survive no the teaching profession. We could not effectively design an instructional plan if we don't understand our learners. Okay? And most especially dahil kayo naman ay maglilit, okay, you will take the licensure exam, those concepts are actually appearing in the licensure exam for teachers. So it is a must that you know those that I have mentioned, okay, in our lecture on the learner. Okay. Now this time, we shall proceed to the next element of the teaching and learning process, and that is the teacher. Okay, that is the teacher. um, it might seem like, oh, alam ko na yan, the teacher, ilang taon ba naman akong nakisalamuha, nakita, face to face, yung mga teachers hanggang ngayon, nag-aaral ako, may teacher, alam ko na yan, alam ko na yung iba't ibang klase ng teacher, alam ko na kung anong kailangan ni teacher, ano dapat ang kanyang, ano na yon, ano yung mga attributes na dapat ay nasa kanya, right? Because those experiences that we had during our elementary years, our high school years, our college years a lot of memories, no? They bring back memories of our encounters, of our experiences, good, bad, funny experiences with our teachers, right? So, there are several types of teachers, and in this video, you will see, in the next videos, may slides ako dito at maraming videos yun. Okay, you will see, or you will, I guess, these videos will bring you back into the memories that you had when you were in elementary or high school, with regards your experiences or encounters with your teachers. Let's watch this.
May nakikinig pa ba sa akin?
Yes po.
Ha? Kasi kung wala, umalis na lang kayo.
Guys,
Grabe
respeto.
kayo. Diyos ko. Sa lahat-lahat ng inandal ko, kayong pinaka worst section. Grabe. Boy, sa tabak, may nakakatawa ba? Wala po, ma'am.
Right? Isn't that funny, right? If you are into TikTok videos, you should follow this guy. Okay, that is the account at Sneer. Okay, he makes a lot of videos about classroom situations, about experiences with teachers, with climate, with classmates, and all. And it's really those videos that he creates. He created are actually very funny, and it brings memories about my high school years. And every time I watch the videos, I feel nostalgic, and that video actually I can relate to that because many times in my classes, okay, when I started teaching, I could not really control my voice. I could not really modulate my voice. And imagine you are in a large classroom, okay, and of course you have to modulate your voice, so you have to make your voice louder, okay. And at some point, you cannot control it at pumipiyok ka na, di ba? So, the teacher na pumipiyok. So, may mga teacher tayong sobrang dedicated sa trabaho, okay, gusto marinig yung boses nila to the other classroom, sa kabilang classroom na sobrang lakas ng boses nila. In fact, tama naman yun. We have to learn, no? As teachers, we have to learn how to modulate our voices. But we have to take care of it as well. Kasi para tayong mga singers, ang puhunan natin ay yung mga boses natin. Because our work is mainly, you have to communicate what you want to teach to your students. And that video by Esnir reminds us of funny experiences about how our teachers, yung mga pumipiyok na teachers natin at minsan pinagtatawanan ng mga estudyante. And of course, aminado naman ako nakakatawa talaga yun. But every time na nangyayari yan sa klase ko, I recognize, okay? I admit naman na nakakatawa siya. So, ayun, I go with the flow with my students. Okay? Let's watch this another
May nakikinig pa ba
video
sa
about
akin?
Yes po.
Ha?
related to teaching experience. Here. Yung teacher mong,
Good afternoon.
yung teacher mong naghahabol ng lessons. Okay, let's watch this.
Good afternoon, class. Ano to? Ano to? Happy Valentine's Day po! Valentine's Day po! Thank you. So, ilabas niyo yung libro niyo. Where did we stop? Kung ayaw niyo mag-aral, lumabas kayo Naghahabol ako ng lesson ngayon.
Alright, this girl is also very funny. Okay, you should follow this girl too, Charlie's Ruth. Okay, Charlie's Ruth. Yeah, and she makes a lot of videos too as well regarding teachers. And this one, yeah, yung mga teacher mo naghahabol ng klase, di ba? Common dito sa college. Kasi may mga teachers tayong sa prelims, ang bagal ng pacing, di ba? Ang bagal ng pacing. Sa midterms, ganun pa din. Kasi nga, may mga activities along the way, may intrams, may college days. So, laging natatabunan yung mga lessons sa prelims hanggang nawawalan na ng oras para dun sa final. So, what happens is, yung mga teachers natin, dahil gusto nilang matapos yung syllabus, hinahabol nila ngayon yung lesson para matapos nila yung kanilang syllabus. But sometimes, in the Philippines kasi, I must say that our curriculum, particularly in the basic education, is congested. By saying congested, masyadong maraming nilalaman, okay? Na maaring hindi feasible na sa oras, okay? nako-compromise na yung pagkututo ng mga bata. But although that is what we mean by mandated or recommended curriculum. If you learn that in your subject in curriculum development, we have what we call recommended curriculum, and this is the course content or the outline of topics that is brought down by the top management, and teachers at the grassroots cannot do anything about that. Okay, so that's beyond the control. So in as much as we have to strike a balance between the learning of our students and of course the content that we need to teach them. So there you see here one kind of teacher, yung teacher mong KJ, di ba? Killjoy, katatapos na ng Teachers Day celebration, tapos proceed agad sa lesson. May mga ganyan teacher talaga. Pero may mga teacher din na very funny, right? Yung kalog. Kumbaga, pag Teacher's Day, tapos gininit nyo sila, o sige, magbibigay siya ng wala ng klase, or wala ng klase after the celebration. Diba? May mga teachers na ganun. And you see here, na ang teachers din magkakaiba. Okay, 'di ba? Magkakaiba ang mga learners natin, ang mga estudyante natin, magkakaiba din yung mga teachers natin. You can experience that now that you are enrolled in earning units. You have 6 teachers, right? Okay? And your 6 teachers in your 6 different subjects are very different from each other. See, I am different from your other teacher. I may be this kind of teacher, and this teacher is this kind of teacher. And we have different teaching approaches, we have different aura, you see, and that makes us different. That makes us unique. Because after all, you cannot design a perfect teacher. Okay? You cannot design a one size fits all teacher. It really depends. Okay? It really depends on my learners. It really depends on my subject as well. So, ako mismo, ganito akong teacher ngayon. Pero pag teacher ako sa undergrad, iba. Iba. Okay? Hindi ako ganito. Pag teacher ako sa graduate school, iba din. Hindi rin ako ganito. Okay? So, it depends on several factors. And teachers really need to become flexible with regards type of learners, type of teaching content, things like those. Okay? This one is another funny video. Let's watch this.
Ay, oo.
Hello po, ma'am. May gusto lang po sana ako itanong.
Can't you knock? Wala ba kayong pinto sa inyo?
Sorry po. Okay po.
Labas.
Good morning po.
Afternoon.
Afternoon po.
Is it still morning?
Hindi po. Sorry po.
Alright. Again, ito naman yung klase ng teacher na very strict, di ba? Yung bang hindi mo mahawakan yung table niya, yung hindi mo mapasbayan yung table niya sa faculty room kasi madalas kinatatakutan ng mga estudyante. And most of these teachers are English teachers, di ba? If you could notice this, yung mga matataharay, masusungit, hindi ako nag-stereotype based on my observations lang. Based on my observations, those teachers, yung mga English teachers natin, medyo may kasungitan, okay? May mga science teachers din na ganyan. Pero mga mababait na teachers, yung mga social science, mga ganyan. Filipino, yung PE teachers natin, yan, medyo mababait, malapit sa mga estudyante. Pero yung mga English teachers natin, science, math, ganun, medyo may kasungitan yan. Pero although, that is their personality and we must accept that. We are different. For example, ako na lang sa faculty room, madami kaming teachers sa faculty room sa college kung saan ako based. And I must say na magkakaiba kami. May kaibigan din akong stricto. Ganyan na ganyan. Yung napanood nyo, ganun na ganun. And we are close. We are very close. We are best friends, no? At stricto talaga siya. Masungit nga siya sa mga estudyante. Pero even though ganun yung personality niya, friends kami. Pero hindi ako ganun kasungit din. So, doon natin makikita yung dynamics, no? Yung pagkakaiba-iba, even though may dynamics na nangyayari sa loob ng faculty room, meron pa ring unity, okay? Meron pa ring friendship or, you see, yung tinatawag nating unity amidst diversity, no? Doon sa loob ng faculty room. Okay? Because after all, you are friends. And you just accept that you have different personalities. And your personalities actually affect the way you teach. The way you handle your students, the way you handle your class, your philosophy in teaching, yung mga yan, affected yan ng personality mo. Okay? And of course, last video, Ayan, bahala na kayo dyan kung ano yung klase.
Nagtititigan kayo and G-Crush Month Professor Selection
Anyway, bahala na kayo dyan.
Nagtititigan
Yan yung teacher niyong pogi, di ba? Di naman self-proclaimed pero mag-yes na lang kayo. Offline naman daw, you cannot say no to me. Anyway, all right. So we now proceed to our formal lecture. Okay, so you see there in the videos that I presented, different kinds of teachers. So yung teacher mong sobrang dedicated na pumipiyok na yung boses, teacher mong masungit, yung favorite catchphrase niya eh, boys at the back, ganun. O kaya naman ay keep quiet, listen, mga ganung phrases. And of course, yung mga teachers na sobrang stricto, yung mga teachers na nagabol ng lesson. At napakarami, no? And yung mga ganyang klase ng teachers, are they good? Are they bad teachers? You know, that's the question. Are they good? Are they effective teachers? As I have mentioned to you, people, you cannot design a best teacher. There is no prototype. You know, there's no prototype for a best teacher. Okay? But there are qualities that a teacher must possess. Okay, there are qualities that a teacher must possess, and we'll get to know them later on. But before that, let us define who is a teacher first. Sino ba ang teacher? Okay? And the Teacher Professionalization Act of 1994 would give us an idea of the definition of a teacher. And this is also known as Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. So take note of this, RA 7836 or the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994 had a mandate, okay, or had a section there wherein there must be a formulation of the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. So magkaiba yung PD 223 sa RA 7836. RA 7836 is the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act. So it is a law, okay, that formally professionalizes teachers in the Philippines. Right. So this is the preamble of the Code of Ethics. Teachers are duly licensed professionals who possesses dignity and reputation with high moral values as well as technical and professional competence in the practice of their noble profession. And they strictly adhere to, observe, and practice this set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. Now, the Code of Ethics, I will not elaborate on this because this is a topic on the teaching profession. Okay, you'll have this as a topic. You'll discuss this on your subject in the teaching profession. But it gives us an idea that a teacher is a duly licensed professional. May lisensya. Okay? May lisensya. Hindi ka matatawag na professional teacher kung hindi ka lisensyado. Okay? So, bukod doon, may lisensya ka, pero kasabay nung meron kang lisensya, nung hawak mong lisensya, ay yung obligasyon mo na panatilihin ang dignidad at reputasyon mo bilang isang guro. Those are very big words, no? Dignity and reputation. Dignity and reputation. That's why, as I have mentioned, whenever I teach subjects in the teaching profession or topics in the teaching profession, I would say that teachers have a very high social status. They are on top of the social strata. Okay? People in the barangay, people in the community, inside the school, look high upon teachers. Masyadong mataas ang expectation natin sa mga guro, especially with regards their moral principles, with their ethical and moral principles and standards, right? Pag teacher ka, pag nakita kang naka-sleeveless o kaya naman kita na yung boobs mo, yung you know, the way you dress, lahat yan pupunahin sa'yo. Kasi nga, you have to exude, no? High ethical and moral standards. Pag teacher ka at nakita may kaholdingan ka ng kamay, kaholding heads ka na kamay sa palengke, pagchichismisan ka, right? Pag teacher ka, nag-post ka ng ganito sa Facebook, nag-post ka ng bikini shot mo sa Facebook, pagchichismisan ka na naman, teacher pa naman, ganito, ganyan. You see, ang dami nating teacher ka pa naman phrases. Di ba? Why? Kasi nga, we have high expectations. No? We have expectations among our teachers with regards ethical and moral principles. Kaya, maraming teachers ang napre-pressure dahil dyan. Kaya, I cannot blame them na I cannot, at the age of 30s, 40s, yung mga teachers natin, wala pa rin asawa. Daming teachers na walang asawa, tumatandang dalaga, nagiging losyang, right? Kikita mo sa palengke, By damit nila, flowerette, alam mo yun. May mga, hindi naman stereotypes to eh. I'm not stereotyping, pero meron tayong prototype na alam mo teacher siya. Di ba? Pag mid-40s or 30s yan, yung buhok ni teacher medyo ano na, boys bob na, right? Yung mga maikli na, mga ganyan, kulot-kulot na, medyo kulot-kulot. Tapos yung fashion statement niya nag-iiba na, right? Mga flower pattern na dress, pattern na na damit, mga ganon. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng changes, no, kumbaga, dahil sa profesyon bilang isang guro. And that is not only a fact that does or a factor of that, okay, or let's say you yourself is not the only factor why you become like that. Teachers become like that because of the expectations as well of the society. Okay. So, Article 1 of the Code of Ethics provides that the Philippine Constitution provides that all educational institutions shall offer quality education for all competent teachers. Committed to its full realization, the provision of this code shall apply, therefore, to all teachers in schools in the Philippines. Now, furthermore, this code covers all public and private school teachers in all educational institutions at the preschool, primary, elementary, and secondary levels, whether academic, vocational, special, technical, or non-formal. So the Code of Ethics, ladies and gentlemen, is not only good for public school teachers, but they are also applicable to private school teachers. But, however, you see here, that the levels are specified in the Code of Ethics. What are these? Only in institutions at the preschool, primary, elementary, secondary, whether academic, vocational, special, technical, or non-formal. There is a question in the licensure exam for teachers that goes this way. Are colleges or universities or are teachers in the colleges or universities covered by the Code of Ethics? The answer to that is no. Why? Because the Code of Ethics provides that the colleges or teachers in colleges and universities are not covered by the Code of Ethics. Okay? The term teacher shall include industrial arts or vocational teachers and all other persons performing supervisory and or administrative functions in all school at the aforesaid levels, whether on full-time or part-time basis. So, you see, si principal na walang teaching load, teacher pa rin ba siya? Yes. According to the Code of Ethics, kahit wala kang teaching load, basta ikaw ay may supervisory or administrative function doon sa eskwelahan na pinagtatrabuhuhan mo, you can be called a teacher. Okay? So, kung si principal, nagka-jowa, okay? Nagka-jowa ng estudyante sa mismong eskwelahan na siya ang principal, maaari siyang magkaroon ng violation, maaari dahil hindi naman, baka sabihin nyo, sir, di ba bawal magka-jowa ng estudyante? You know, hindi naman explicit yung pagkasabi ng Code of Ethics na bawal eh. You know, it is bawal, okay? Or it is a violation of the Code of Ethics if the relationship was scandalous. Nag-cause siya ng iskandalo doon sa eskwelahan. Okay? So, it did not explicitly mention na bawal magka-jowa. Okay, bawal ang love affair between a teacher and the student. It becomes only bawal or against the Code of Ethics if it becomes scandalous. Okay? So, hindi ko man sinasabing okay lang na magka-jowa kayo. As much as possible, hintayin yung graduate naman. Or, ignore it para walang problema. Okay? So, the bottom line here, guys, is that a teacher is in the Philippines, okay? A teacher is a licensed professional teacher. A teacher is someone who works in public and private schools. And a teacher is a licensed professional teacher who works in a public and private school in primary, preschool, elementary, secondary, whether academic, vocational, special, technical, or non-formal. Yun ang sakop ng Code of Ethics. Yun ang definition ng teacher dun sa Code of Ethics of Teachers, which is also known as Presidential Decree number 223. Okay? Now, so, that's what I mentioned about, okay? Licensed professional teacher who possesses dignity with high moral values. Now, okay, so the professional teacher is the one who went through 4 to 5 period of rigorous academic preparation in teaching and one who is given a license to teach by the Board of Professional Teachers of the Professional Regulation Commission after fulfilling the requirements prescribed by law such as LEP. He or she is registered in the roster of professional teachers at the Professional Regulation Commission and undergoes continuing professional education. So I want to highlight no undergoes continuing professional education. That is very true. Okay, kaya nga may CPD units na eh. Okay, may CPD units na. Dati kasi wala. Pero na-realize nila dun sa Code of Ethics na kailangan. Dahil si teacher, professional siya, yung mga natutunan niya noon ay maaaring hindi na applicable ngayon. So we need to constantly upgrade ourselves. That is part of our duty as a professional to become updated of our skills, of our knowledge with regards our profession. Okay. So, teacher has professional and personal attributes. So, meron siyang mga qualities na kailangang nasa kanya. And we could categorize them generally as professional attributes and personal attributes. Let's discuss these professional attributes first. Now, a professional teacher possesses the following attributes. Number one, in terms of professional, number one, control of the knowledge base of teaching and learning and use this knowledge to guide the science and art of his or her teaching practice. Control of the knowledge base of teaching and learning. In other words, you know your pedagogy. Okay? You know how to teach. Or you know how to teach because you know, okay, kasi sabi dito, control of the knowledge base of teaching and learning. Alright? So this is one of your professional attributes. After all, no, hindi ka naman the assumption is, hindi ka naman makakapasa ng licensure exam if you don't have a strong foundation in pedagogy. Okay? If you don't have a strong foundation in your professional education courses. So, as a professional teacher, you must know basically how to teach. You must be knowledgeable of the strategies, of the methodologies of teaching that are appropriate to your learners. And that is the very reason why you are here. If you want to be a teacher, you have to learn the strategies, the methodologies, the approaches, the techniques in teaching. And that would give you an idea on how teaching happens inside the classroom. But that goes beyond that. It's not enough that you know those strategies. Because there are certain factors na dapat mo i-consider para sabihin mo, ito yung best strategy na gagamitin ko. At yun ay pag-aaralan nyo in your other subjects in earning units. Okay? Second, repertoire of best teaching practice and can use this to instruct children in classrooms and to work with adults in the school setting. So, repertoire. By saying repertoire, you have an array. Okay? You have a set of best teaching practices within you. Hindi lang isa, pero marami kang alam na teaching practices. Okay? And you can use those for your students and also to work with your co-teachers in the school setting. So you could, share your best practices to them. You could work together. You could collaborate together to develop a teaching practice, to make a research or some sort of like that. So yun yung tinatawag nating repertoire. Okay? Disposition and skills to approach all aspects of his or her work in a reflective, collegial, and problem-solving manner. So you have the disposition, you have that skill to approach all aspects, okay, of your work. Okay, it is important that you guys are behaving professionally. Okay, magkaiba yun sa yung professional teacher, professional na job or work. When you say you're behaving professionally, you give due dignity and integrity to your own profession. By how? By the way you talk to your co-teachers, by the way you communicate your problems to them, by the way you communicate your concerns to them. Okay, you practice your job professionally. Okay, that's one of a professional attribute. And then last but not the least, your view of learning to teach as a lifelong process and dispositions and skills for working towards improving your own teaching as well as improving your school. Okay? So as a teacher, one of your professional attributes should be your desire to improve yourself as a teacher. Okay? That teaching for you is not constant. Teaching is dynamic. And therefore, because that is how you view or perceive teaching, You think like, you know, um, I have to develop myself year by year, year after year. I have to attend seminars. I have to attend trainings. I have to attend conferences so that I will be able to enhance my skill in teaching. And the reason why you do that is not only because of yourself, not because of you want to earn points, but because primarily because of your students and for the development of the school at large. All right? So those are some of the professional attributes of a teacher. Now, let us proceed with the personal attributes of a teacher. So, personality is the sum of one's personal characteristics. Yun nga sinasabi ko kanina about personality. Teachers have different personality. Okay? Teachers are judged more strictly than any other professionals. The personality they project determines they make upon students and colleagues. Exactly what I mentioned. Personalities may be described as authoritative. May mga teachers tayong authoritative. May teachers tayong, alam mo yun, medyo weak. Alam mo yun, yung parang gullible na teachers, right? Dynamic or magnetic. Teachers' personality must be natural and genuine, devoid of pretenses and artificiality, and they must be consistent, true, and authentic. All right. These are some of the personal attributes of a teacher. One, passion. You see this picture? Are you familiar with Marisol Soriano's movie Mila? Right. If you have not watched that movie, I strongly suggest that you watch that movie. It's an old film, 1990s siya, 1990s. Okay, it's a story of a teacher, a very passionate teacher. Okay, na nabuhay siya sa kalsada eh. Nagturo siya ng mga bata na laboy-laboy, nagturo siya sa mga group of girls na nagtatrabaho sa club, ganun. At makikita mo talaga dun yung passion niya as a teacher. And Maricel really played the role well. Okay, there is no question about the acting skill of Marisol Soriano in the movie. And if you have not watched that, I strongly suggest that you watch that. If you really want to become a teacher and you want to, you know, strengthen your passion, to remind you of your passion in teaching, you can watch that. You watch that movie. Okay. So what is passion? Passion in teaching is a compelling force that emerges from one's inborn love for children. Okay. Passionate teachers exude spontaneity in ministering to the needs of the students, especially those experiencing learning difficulties. Passion is a big word. Whenever I ask my undergraduate students, why do you want to become a teacher? They would say to me, because it's my passion. I don't believe them. I don't believe them. Why? Because passion, to say that something is your passion, or to say that teaching is your passion, requires a very long time of thinking, of experience. Okay? That you could say this is your passion. Wala pa namang experience yung mga undergrad students sa pagtuturo eh. Right? Wala pa silang masasabi na, sabi kasi nila, kasi sir, nung bata ako, kaya nung ako ay nag-high school, sabi nung teacher ko, maging little teacher ako sa mga klase ko, doon ko na-realize na passion ko pala ang pagtuturo. That is like superficial pa lang. Okay? Superficial pa lang. That for me is not an enough experience that you could say that this is your passion. You know why teachers experience burnout? May mga teachers tayo nag-resign. May mga teachers tayong, maalis sa trabaho, nag-change ng career. Because at the end, at the later part of their teaching career, at their profession, nare-realize nila na hindi na sila masaya sa ginagawa nila. Why? Because in the first place, teaching was not their passion. Okay? Teaching was not their passion. Yung mga teachers natin ng elementary na nagtumanda na sa profession, yung mga yan, you could really see that teaching is their passion. Kahit nahihirapan na sila, no? Kahit na basaway na yung bata, hindi na marunong magbasa, hindi natututo talaga, andun at andun pa rin siya. Okay? Pinagsisilbihan at pinagtsatsagaan yung bata na patutong magbasa. That is passion. That's what I call passion. Okay? That's why I have a very high regards with elementary teachers. I have very high regards with primary school and kindergarten teachers. Imagine how can you actually teach someone who does not know how to read to read. Ang hirap nun. Ang hirap magturo ng basic fundamental skills, basic skills sa mga estudyante, sa mga bata. Okay? Kaya marami teachers ang sumasakit na ang ulo, mga ganyan, na high blood na, dahil sa mga ganun. But they keep on doing it. They do it for 20, for 30, for 40 long years. That is passion. You have that inborn love for children. Okay? Sabi nga dito. And you exude spontaneity in ministering to the needs of students. Okay? Not everybody is born as a teacher. Not everybody is born a teacher. But if you think and you realize one day, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, then you must have that passion. No, you must have that passion. Okay? If you ask me now, is teaching my passion? For now, I love what I'm doing. But should I say teaching is my passion? I did not come to that point yet that I am realizing that this is my passion. But of course, I have to do my best. Okay, this is what I I I I had an oath, no? Nag-oath ako na gagawin ko yung best ko. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, that's why I'm doing this. But if you had asked me, is this what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life? Or is this really my passion? I did not come to that point yet. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying yes, but I did not come to that point yet that I will be able to answer that question. That this is my passion. All right? But though that's passion. Okay, that's one of the personal attributes of teachers. Now, second is humor. Kilala niyo to? Yung nagtuturo ng music. Teacher talaga siya, pero hindi siya music teacher. Pero nakakatuwa lang, 'di ba? Yung mga tinuturo niya na, "Do you wanna build a snowman?" Mga ganun. Right. Yung yung mga terms na ginagamit niya, I find it funny, okay? Humor is one personal attribute. So, wag masyadong stricto, wag masyadong base, yung naka-stick ka sa book, naka-stick ka sa content mo. Okay, magsingit ka rin ng mga joke, magsingit ka rin ng joke. Pero wag naman yung entirety ng klase mo, puro joke. May mga kilala akong teacher sa ganyan. Dinadaan sa kwento, dinadaan sa joke. Wala ka na natutunan sa klase. Huwag naman ganun. Okay? It's not good na masyado kang stricto sa content mo. Na wala ka na masyadong ad-lib sa klase. Hindi naman maganda yung ganun. Okay? Kasi baka di makarelate na yung mga estudyante mo. Pero hindi rin maganda na sa buong klase mo, nag-joke ka na lang, nag-share ka na lang ng stories mo. Hindi maalaala mo kaya yung klase mo. Naging maalaala magpakailanman yung klase mo. Okay? So it's a balance between, content and of course, yung ad-libs mo. Okay? Pero one of the most important at pinaka nakaka-engaging na personal attribute ng teachers ay yung may humor sila. Okay? Humor stands for anything funny, which elicits a smile, laughter, or amusing reaction. It is an essential quality of teachers that serves a number of purposes. Okay? In this way, you could establish a relationship with your students. Di ba? Naalala ko yung mga teachers ko nung elementary. Meron akong nafe-feel pagka sila na yung kaharap ko. Ba? May mga teachers ako na pagkaharap ko sila, takot ako. Okay? May mga teachers naman na pagkaharap ko sila, medyo at ease ako. Okay? Kasi nga, yung mga teachers na at ease ako, sila yung mga nagpapatawa sa klase. Okay? Sila yung may ad-lib. Okay? And that actually helps a teacher establish a relationship with their students. Now, values and attitudes as well. Open-mindedness, fairness and impartiality, and professionalism. Pag sinabi nating open-mindedness, ito yung may pagkakataon kasi na may mga tanong tayo or may mga tanong yung mga students natin na hindi natin alam ang sagot. Okay? Anong gagawin mo kung hindi mo alam ang sagot sa tanong ng estudyante mo? What do you do? What will you do? We have different strategies there. No? We have different strategies. And you'll have your own strategy sooner or later. Okay? But is it okay that you admit that you don't know the answer? Is it okay that as a teacher, you admit that you don't know the answer? Okay. Now, this is my advice. There is no one particular rule to that question. But do not admit na hindi mo alam. This is my advice. This is just my personal advice. Do not admit to your students na hindi mo alam ang sagot. Na sabihin mo, ay, hindi ko kasi alam yung sagot yan, anak. Ano bang sagot dyan? No, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. You still have to, you know, uh, preserve, okay, your becoming a teacher, your academic integrity as a teacher. And there are so many strategies that you could do. Kung hindi mo alam, may mga talaga naman, may mga pagkakataon na hindi mo alam ang sagot. And then you could ask your other classmates. Okay, sabihin mo, okay, very good question, very interesting. Tama. Very good, no, that you asked that. Okay? Let us see if your classmates could answer your question. What about you? Can you give me an answer? Do you think about the question of blah blah blah? Or you could say, oh, very good. You know what? I actually reserved that question as your assignment. Oh, you see? Oh, may mga strategies tayong mga ganyan. Okay? Pero advice ko lang, pag may mga ganong chances na hindi mo alam ang sagot, never admit that you don't know the answer. It's not a question of being open-minded. Open-minded. Pag sinabi nating open-minded, tinatanggap mo ang opinion o reaction ng mga estudyante mo. You respect their opinion. Hindi mo sila nire-reject. Yun ang open-mindedness. Okay? That if they give an opinion, they express an opinion to you, you respect that particular opinion. Even if that opinion is in contrast with your personal belief, hindi mo i-reject yun. You respect. Yun yung tinatawag nating open-mindedness. Okay? Fairness and impartiality. Okay? Teachers. Okay? Ang teachers may tendency na maging unfair. Totoo naman yan. Ang teachers may tendency na may favoritism, may discrimination. Those are stereotypes among teachers. Okay? Pero as much as possible, we must erase that. Okay? We must erase that. We must refrain ourselves from having favorite students, from being impartial to our students. Okay? Maraming mga tendencies kung kailan nagiging impartial at nagiging unfair si teacher. Pag-aaralan nyo to sa sa social dimensions of education. Meron tayong tinatawag na labeling theory. May mga labels ang mga teachers sa ating mga estudyante. Okay? Una, yung mga estudyante na nasa harap, tingin mo sila ay matatalino. Di ba? Oh, that's one stereotype. Avoid that. Yung mga estudyante natin na hindi nananamit, yung hindi malinis manamit, tingin natin parang nasa bottom sila ng klase. That's a stereotype. That's a red flag. Huwag nating isipin na korpet naninilaw na yung mga damit ng estudyante natin, hindi sila nagpe-perform. Okay? Yung mga estudyante natin na anak ng teacher, red flag, hindi silang lahat matalino. Okay? At tingin kasi natin, pag yung estudyante natin ay anak ng teacher, agad-agad natin isip, baka matalino ito kasi nga anak ni teacher. No, there are many instances na medyo mahina din or slow learners din, coping learners din, yung mga anak ng teachers. Pangapat, yung mga marurunong mag-English. Right? Yung mga estudyante tayo magaling mag-English. And then we think na, magaling sa klase. Number one. No, red flag again. Okay? So, as much as possible, we have to refrain from those stereotypes. Okay? Huwag nating stereotype ang ating mga estudyante. Okay? Professionalism is highly treasured in the teaching profession. Teachers are adjudged professional if they are knowledgeable, skilled, and value-laden. Okay? Now, patience. Okay? Patience is another personal attribute. But this again, ladies and gentlemen, is something that you should learn through time. Okay? Hindi ito nagagawa overnight. You cannot learn patience overnight. You may be born innate with patience, pero as teachers na walang pasensya, dapat matutunan natin na maging pasensyoso o pasensyosa. You could relate with Duterte, right? This is Duterte. And si Duterte, no offense sa mga mga pro Duterte, minsan nawawalan siya ng patience, di ba? Nawawalan siya ng patience. Pero as teachers, we must have patience. Okay, wag nating pagganahin yung galit natin kasi baka ma-translate itong nararamdaman natin sa physical actions at baka masubunutan, mabugbog, mapalo yung mga estudyante natin. But that's against the law anymore. Diba? That's against the law na. So, dapat hindi na natin ginagawa yun. So, in teaching, patience refers to a teacher's uncomplaining nature, self-control, and persistence. Patient teachers can forego momentous frustrations and disappointments. They calmly endure their students' limitation and difficulties. Minsan okay din naman na pinagsasabihan yung mga estudyante. Tama yan, that's discipline. Okay, that's discipline. Pero you have to do that properly. Huwag nyo silang sisigawan. Okay, wag sisigawan, wag papaluin, wag dadapuan ng kamay as much as possible. Okay? Kasi pag nangyari yan, baka mawalan kayo ng lisensya. Okay? Do not use derogatory words too. Huwag kayo magmura. Okay? Pwede silang pagsabihan. Pero huwag niyong sasamahan ng pagmumura yung pinagsasasabi niyo sa mga estudyante niyo. Okay? Enthusiasm. Okay? Kahit food ka na, dapat enthusiastic ka pa rin. Alive and enthusiastic. Alive forevermore. Pero mahirap yan, no? Okay? Kumbaga, kung 3 oras ka sa umaga nagtuturo, 3 oras sa hapon, mahirap nang i-sustain yung energy. Okay? Kaya, dapat, alam mo kung paano i-manage yung energy mo bilang isang teacher. Huwag mong i-go lahat sa unang klase mo. Okay? Iplano mo yung instruction mo. Kaya nga may mga activities na pinapagawa para ma-reserve yung energy mo throughout the day. Okay? Magplano ka. Okay? Pagplano yan. Nasa design ng instruction yan para yung energy mo distributed siya throughout the day. Okay? So, enthusiasm is synonymous to eagerness and excitement. So, enthusiastic teachers are full of energy and dynamism. With enthusiastic teachers, students look forward to any activity they can participate with them. You could observe this personal attribute, lalong-lalo na sa mga kindergarten teachers at sa mga elementary teachers. Pero sa college, mga college teachers natin, yung pasok ng classroom, good morning class, good morning, present sa klase, see? Okay? Pero may mga teachers naman tayo sa college na very enthusiastic din. Okay, now next, commitment. See this? Okay, nag-trending to sa Facebook tsaka sa balita. 'Di ba? Yung mga teachers natin na umaakyat ng bundok para makasagap lang ng internet. Itsura ng mga teachers natin, no? Mag-submit ng form sa LIS o kaya mag-input ng grade. Kailangan pang pumunta sa ibang lugar. Okay, para makahanap lang ng internet signal. Okay? So yung mga teachers na yan yung may mga commitment sa trabaho. Okay? So commitment is a solemn promise to perform the duties and responsibilities mandated by the laws and code of ethics of the profession. It is an unwavering pledge to perform all teaching and learning activities with consistency and selflessness to the best interest of students under their care. Commitment is another important personal attribute of a teacher. And then, of course, yun na nga yung ating mga personal attributes. So, let's just have a run-through of these personal attributes. So we have, of course, passion. We have humor. We have, of course, the values and attitudes. Under that, we have open-mindedness, fairness, professionalism, patience, enthusiasm, and commitment. All right. So as your additional task for this particular topic, you have to read more on the roles of teachers. Lalabas yan sa quiz nyo. Magpapaquiz ulit ako Sunday afternoon. Papost ko yung test code ng inyong quiz for this particular lesson. Okay? So read page 9 to 11. On that page, you will be able to learn the different roles of the teachers. The teacher as a leader, the teacher as a manager, the teacher as a guidance counselor, so on and so forth. And please also watch the briefer video of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. Nandito sa link na to. Ilalagay ko dun sa description mamaya sa baba kung saan nyo mapapanood. You click that link and then you can watch the briefer of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. Anong makikita mo sa video na yon? It will explain to you yung bago nating mandate as far as the standards of teaching in the Philippines. Dati kasi we have the NCBTS. As I have mentioned to you in the past videos that I gave you, dati may NCBTS tayo. Ngayon, meron na tayong tinatawag na PPST or Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. You should watch that, okay? Because that will come out in your quiz as well, okay? Now, as your task for today, okay, this will serve as your attendance, okay? You comment below kahit 1 paragraph lang, 3 sentences or 4 sentences. You share in English, in Tagalog, or in Ilocano, bahala kayo kung anong language ang gagamitin nyo. You share a memorable experience with the teacher when you were in elementary or high school or college. Okay? Anong memorable experience na ito na na-encounter nyo sa mga teachers nyo? And why was that memorable to you? Bakit siya memorable sa'yo? And may natutunan ka ba dun sa encounter mo na yun? So have you learned something from that experience? Okay, so again, you share a memorable experience with the teacher when you were in elementary, high school, or college, and why was that memorable to you? Okay, have you learned something from that experience? So, in three to five sentences, please share that or comment that answer down there in the comment section. Please state your name muna and then your section. Okay, state your name and then your section and then proceed with your answer. Okay. So you just choose one among the two questions. Okay, you share your experience with the teacher, or number two, when uh, in the lessons that we had kanina, okay, yung topic natin kanina, sa mga natutunan mo ngayong araw, was there a change in how you perceive teachers now? Explain why. Elaborate briefly. Yes and or no, and why. So, sa lahat na natutunan mo ngayong araw, yung personal at professional attributes sa teacher, at sa lahat na nabanggit ko, may nagbago ba sa kung paano mo tignan, no? Paano ang pananaw mo sa teaching profession? Was there a change in how you perceive the teachers? So if the answer is yes, explain why. If the answer is no, explain why. Okay? So you just choose one among these two questions and that will serve as your attendance for today. You have to pause your answer exactly before 6 p.m. of Sunday. Okay? Hanggang 6 p.m. lang ng sige, gawin na lang natin before Tuesday midnight din. Okay? Before Tuesday midnight. Parehas ng deadline yun ng quiz. Okay? So before Tuesday midnight, you have to pause your answer of one of the two questions here. Okay? So that will be serve as your attendance for our meeting for today. Okay? So that's it. That's our lesson for the teacher. And you just simply wait for my test code, okay, for our test code on Sunday afternoon. And then, of course, you have to answer one of these questions, and that will serve as your attendance. Okay? So I hope that you learned again in this topic, particularly on the teacher as an element of the teaching and learning process. Next meeting, we'll talk about the learning environment. Okay, we'll talk about the learning environment. Okay, so I hope that everybody is safe and see you again next meeting. Hopefully, synchronous na tayo. I will promise we'll meet synchronously. I will schedule na lang if there will be meetings pa that will come out in the uh, out somewhere, okay? May mga meetings na dapat attendahan, okay? So, thank you so much and have a nice day. Goodbye!